welcome to our Home Network Productions. Today, IOTU is here with True Ghost Stories to give you a little bit of Native American history on stuff like this chimney over here. Which dates all the way back to like colonial times and Native American, because all this here in the Freetown State Forest was one time run by the Native Americans until the settlers came in. So here today is Jen, who's going to give you the history on this chimney over here.
This chimney was used by Native Americans to do sacrifices, to cook, to make clothes. They used to live here. Native American chiefs were the ones that had these. There's also a stone in each chimney that represents something. And this is actually a really good conductor for spirit activity, because all the stones that are in it, we have limestone, we have quartz. So these are all really good conductors for spirit activity. And we're going to go search for another one that's here in the forest also, that's nearby. So let's go check that one out.
Alright, now we're here in a second location in the Freetown State Forest here in Freetown, Mass. This right here is where they used to do some of the satanic worshipping and sacrifice. And Jen is actually going to give you a little bit more history on that because she's been looking it up. And so, Jen?
This is where the cult people would bring all their cultists with them to join them in meetings and sacrifices. There was at one point a bunch of skulls, animal skulls, random skulls hanging all over the place. A few dream catchers were hanging up. Everything's been taken down now, but they do have some of the stumps that are still here that people sat on. They have a little fire pit. I'm not sure if that's... They used to do their meetings. And over here is where all the head cult leaders would sit around. They'd have food and everything over here. We're not actually sure where they did their sacrifices. I don't know if it's in this exact location. I don't think so, but we could look into that more. And we're going to go to another location to go see the second...
Well, just as you heard Jen said before, this is where they would do the sacrifice. Now, the reason why people who are satanic worshippers would be out this far is because they like secluded areas that are closed off from the public where nobody can see them. They like to remain very private. So that's one of the reasons why they would be out this far to do sacrifices and worshiping to the devil, the Satan. And what people need to remember is when they do that, it can open up many doors for even people like us to be attacked later. That's not always the case, but it has been known to happen. So when coming out to exclude areas like this or any part of the forest, the Freetown State Forest within the Bridgewater Triangle, you got to be very careful, because it's been known all throughout the whole Bridgewater Triangle of people worshiping Satan, doing certain sacrifices and stuff like that to the devil or for the devil. So you got to be really careful in coming out here, especially if you have a higher power. Whatever your higher power is, just pray to them, and you should be safe. You will be.
Sacrifice pit. This is where supposedly myth says that they sacrificed people on top of here, and then when they were done they burned it on the inside. As you can come in and see on the inside, it's kind of shaped like a human tomb. Pretty cool, huh?
Yeah.
We're not sure if that's true, but everybody around here says that it is true. And over here is where the dream catcher is. The Indians made this dream catcher, and I'm sure Jenny will give us a little bit of history on that in just a few moments. Okay, so now we are in our third location, which is where the Native Americans would meet. This is where they would worship God, or they would bring their children here and teach their children how to make tools. And if you come over here, this is one of the tools they would teach their children to make. They would use stuff like this, and they would bring the kids here and teach them how to make tools and stuff. A lot of the tools that used to be here are no longer here, but this is where they would sit around and they would worship their God. They would also do sacrifices on this side over here. They would also have wood burning all the way around the circle, so that way no spirits could get in or out of the circle. Here's where the natives' priest would be. He would stand behind here, and he would do what he needed to do. And usually they have ribbons that they tie around every year. They tie it all around the whole circle. There's usually a net that they put on top, covering the whole top, so it looks like a dream catcher. And for your dreams and for your wishes to come true, you would have to be standing inside the circle. And they would call their spirits, family members, and whoever else they might have wanted to get in contact with from the other side. And that's about all the history that I have for you on this site right now. But I do want to come back to the site and do some investigating. So while I'm getting eaten alive by bugs out here, I'm going to share a story about Indian Joe. And Indian Joe, it said that Indian Joe would kill any white man who came on this land. And I'm not sure if his name is Indian Joe. I know some people have seen him. He blows a horn to warn you when to leave, and if you don't leave by then he will get you and kill you. That's the story behind Indian Joe.
There was a story, there was of these two teenage kids that came into they drove up here and was up near the ledge up there, and it was after dark. The guy had to go to the bathroom. He gets out, goes to the bathroom. It sounds like any other normal myth, you know, the girl's in the car, you know, she's all alone and whatnot, or whatever. Well, this actually really happened, and the guy went to the bathroom. She kept hearing banging and whatever all over the car, but it was pitch dark, and it's really dark in here at night. There's no lights whatsoever. So she kept hearing banging. Well, come morning, a police officer or the forest person, because her boyfriend never came back.
Yeah.
He was gone. And the forestry was banging on her window, whatever. She was scared, petrified, scared to death. Well, come to find out, her boyfriend was hanging in a tree upside down dead.
Oh my God.
Hanging with a rope.
That must have been where the urban legend came from,
Yes.
about the guy hanging above the car.
Yeah, he was supposedly hanging. It's an urban legend that Indian Joe is the one that did it. And for many, many, many years, I mean, I remember when I was a kid, I used to come up here and everybody used to say, better get out of there before dark, because if you don't get out of there before dark, you're not going to make it out of the forest alive. And so most people don't come here after dark anymore. They stay away, and they especially don't come to this Indian area here, because there's over 200 Indian tribes right here in this forest. So you got to respect their land, not throw trash, not, you know, do everything you can to respect them, because it belongs to them.
Yeah.
The reservations are surrounding us, so if they don't like you, you're not gonna be here. They're gonna make you leave, or they're gonna chase you and do sacrifices or do whatever they do. But I don't think it's the Indians that do the human sacrifices. I think it's the cults that when we were over there in that one building, it's the cults that do the human sacrifices, the devil worshippers, not the Indians. The Indians don't sacrifice people. they sacrifice animals, from what I'm aware of, from what I've been told.
Okay, so as you can see, they got these little decorations hanging from this tree, and this is their worshiping tree, I would guess. It's Native Americans. They believe that everything was alive. The trees are alive. They were very spiritual people, so they used to worship everything. They used to worship the ground, rocks, animals, trees, everything. So this is one place that gets decorated for them every time they have a thing going on, like a festival or something. And it's right next to their offering stone, where we leave our rocks when we leave. Down here they have a little bowl. It's one of their Indian bowls. This is one of their Indian bowls.
So when you come and you visit their land, you're supposed to pick up a rock and respect them by putting a rock here, because their rocks, they have meaning to them. I'm not sure exactly what all the meanings are, but every time you visit, to be respectful towards the Indians, you put a rock here, and then you walk out, and that's their little rock monument. Ooh, he put a big rock on there. He's got a lot of heart, doesn't he?
Well, what people should also know too is that Native Americans for centuries, for years, even before the settlers from Europe, you know, whether if it was UK, Spain, France, before they came over here, Native Americans have always been very spiritual people. They've always been very connected to the earth, and they've always been very connected to the other side, or what some like to call the unknown or the afterlife today.
Then he found another fireplace, another fire pit. This is one I have never seen before. And it's also got the, what is that kind of stone you were calling it?
Lime.
Limestone, and what is that for?
It's actually said, or a theory, as you want to put it, that such things like limestone or bricks itself can hold residual energy, which is the energy that we put out ourselves, to where somewhere down the line in history, our energy will put out our spirit, so to say, and to basically people just kind of see a repeat. It's basically what it is, like a residual haunting. It's just a constant replay. It's just like constantly watching the same frame over and over again in your DVD play. You know, you put it on that one scene that you like in the movie, and it just repeats itself. That's basically what a residual is, or how I like to describe it. But that's basically what it said in the theory, or in the history of the paranormal, is that such things like limestone, brick, it can hold that that residual, that natural energy.